Ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka. Here, get my way. Ooga, 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 chaka, ooga, 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 chaka. Wait, you guys, I'm hearing a little something. What kind of feeling? I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm 22 Tiger Dude. Dun, 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 dun. I'm here to review dun, 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 Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm 22 Tiger Dude. Guardians of the Galaxy is written and directed by James Gunn. It stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Bautista, with the voice talents of Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon and Vin Diesel as Groot. It also has John C. Reilly, Glenn Close, Lee Pace, and Benicio Del Toro as the Collector. This film is about Peter Quill. He is a human being that comes into planet Earth ever since he was little. He's also referred to as Star-Lord. So he steals this orb that belongs to the villain Ronan, but he has to make sure that Ronan never touches the orb. But turns out that he's not the only one that's after the orb. Gamora is also after it, Drax is after it, Rocket Raccoon and Groot are after it. So the five of them agreed to team up and become Guardians of the Galaxy, and to make sure that Ronan doesn't come any close to the orb. Guardians of the Galaxy is just so great to watch. Not only is it just a very well done summer blockbuster film, but it's also a very well made Marvel film, and it's different from the other Marvel films, and in fact, it's actually a standalone movie. It doesn't have anything to really connect with the Avengers Age of Ultron, which is cool because it's nice to see a little something original, since the other movies in Phase 2 have been just sequels, which I have no problem with, but it's just nice to see some new characters, superheroes to be introduced to. Chris Pratt is fantastic as Peter Quill / Star-Lord. We also get introduced to Gamora, that's played by Zoe Saldana, and I thought she was also really good in the film. Bradley Cooper is awesome as Rocket Raccoon. And just as I was expecting going into this film, Rocket Raccoon is my favorite character in this entire movie. He steals the show, he is badass, he is funny, and even though he is a character that does crack jokes a lot, you could really care about him. I definitely cared about him, and he is awesome. And also, Bradley Cooper was actually pretty unrecognizable. Like, there were a couple of times where I cut that Bradley Cooper voice, but really, for the most part, I didn't hear a Bradley Cooper. I actually did hear a Rocket Raccoon. So Bradley Cooper, fantastic voice work. And even though this other character only says 3 words, I am Groot, who is voiced by Vin Diesel, he also does a really good job with Groot, and Groot is just such an adorable tree character. Groot is just, oh man, Groot is just such an amazing character. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am saying that a walking tree is so adorable. Ironic, huh? The special effects, as expected in a Marvel movie, is fantastic. It looks really good, and yes, it's CGI, but the CGI really blends with the action scenes so well. It's just pure eye candy. The way it pops in the screen is amazing. It's just beautifully crafted. So action scenes, perfect. I also thought the storyline was really well written. It was clever. It was creative. How James Gunn portrayed it on the big screen was really good. The way he directs the film too is very nice. He has beautiful camera work. None of the action scenes look all shaky or anything. They are still. You could see the action scenes very well. James Gunn, when he films the action, he just wants you to get really immersed into this world. Even when there's no action going on and when there's just dialogue, he still makes you feel very immersed into the space world. Cinematography shot beautifully too. Really love how the overall film looks. Nothing wrong with how the film is shot. Every shot in this film looks breathtaking. John C. Reilly, who surprisingly has a small role in this movie. I would think his role is bigger, but nonetheless, he still did a really good job for the small role that he had. Glenn Close was also really good in this film, and Benicio Del Toro, who is really only in this film for like 2 minutes, he does a good job in the film too. Now, the film isn't like humor after humor after humor after humor, because that could kind of get old after a while, but there is a lot of humor added into Guardians of the Galaxy. But one of the things I have to credit the film for is how it does a nice job of mixing in a lot of humor, but adding in the dramatic scenes when it needs to be there. As expected, the film does play the classic 80s music that is such a treat to listen to on the screen, because I love 80s music and I'm pretty much familiar with all the 80s music that's played in this film. It's just really amazing, and for a Marvel film like this, it actually does match. So for Guardians of the Galaxy, a Marvel superhero film, to play 80s music is just kick-ass. And it matches well with the overall character, Peter Quill, because if you see his backstory in the film, you can get an understanding of why 80s music is played throughout the movie, and I just thought that was perfect. Now, I do have a couple of flaws I need to address in this film. One of the flaws is actually Dave Bautista as Drax. That's why, if you guys notice, I didn't really mention him when I was complimenting all the other actors. And that's not to say Dave Bautista did a bad job. He did pretty decent as Drax. It's just that he could have improved a little more on the character, and it kind of felt like he was giving the same face throughout. His acting just seemed a little bit stiff. I felt like he could have been a little more stronger in the role. I cared about Drax. I was still able to get behind and care for him, but Dave Bautista himself, I don't want to say it's his fault, because it's not, but I do think he could use some more work in his acting abilities for the character. But he still did a pretty decent job, just not as good as the other actors in the Guardians of the Galaxy group. And I unfortunately do have to say that the villains here were kind of bland. The villains, Ronan and Nebula. Nebula is Gamora's sister, and the two of them, I just didn't really care too much as villains. I didn't find them menacing. They actually just play the generic villains, like, oh, I'm a villain, and I'm doing bad stuff, and that's really it. Like, yeah, they do bad stuff, and a couple of things they do that are bad were cool, but really other than that, they just really weren't that special. And yes, I do admit, the villain in Thor: The Dark World wasn't at his strongest, but the villain in Thor: The Dark World was at least more interesting to me than the one right here. So the villains in this film, unfortunately, were quite disappointing and could have used a little bit more work. Overall, though, Guardians of the Galaxy is a fun space adventure film. Now, I don't think it's as good as Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Thor: The Dark World. It is better than Iron Man 3, and I'm naming in terms of like phase 2. And I know you guys are going to probably ask me, is it better than the Avengers? No, I think the Avengers is a better film. But that's still not to say that Guardians of the Galaxy isn't fun, because holy shit, you guys, this movie is awesome! Funny, it's action-packed, you have enough character development. When there are serious moments, you can really get behind it. It's just a lot of fun. It's the space adventure that we've all been anticipating to see, and you know what? James Gunn, with his writing and direction for his film, succeeds at it. I loved almost every moment of Guardians of the Galaxy, and that is why this film is getting 3.5 out of 4 stars. I am 22 Tiger Dude. Don't forget that I will always have Tiger Power!